Here is the single most important point to make about the Bermuda Triangle. There's nothing statistically anomalous about this region. That is to say, there is not a greater risk of your airplane or boat failing or vanishing in this region when compared with the rest of the world. When we watch documentaries or read articles on the subject, we see misleading graphics like this one, from news.com.au, which give the misimpression that there's a uniquely high rate of accidents within the Bermuda Triangle, a problem that other regions simply don't have, and this is just flat out false. Take a look at this map from anychart.com. It shows every airplane crash from 1970 to 2009 with 10 or more fatalities. As we can see, there's a pretty even distribution of airplane crashes all across the world. It's certainly not a problem unique to the Bermuda Triangle, and this region simply doesn't stand out on the map as anomalous. This map from Bloomberg shows all large aircraft disappearances since 1948. Again, the Bermuda Triangle simply doesn't stand out as exceptional. In fact, in other parts of the world, we see a much greater concentration of airplane losses, namely the northwestern tip of South America and Indochina. And even if we looked at the data and did see a cluster around the Bermuda Triangle, and even if all variables like traffic rates and weather conditions were equal across the world, there still wouldn't necessarily be anything unique about this region. This clustering could be purely the result of chance, and drawing a triangle around this cluster could actually be a version of the Texas sharpshooter fallacy. Imagine a person who takes a pistol, shoots randomly at the side of a barn without looking, and then walks up to the barn and draws a bullseye around the area where there's the greatest concentration of bullets. That is the Texas sharpshooter fallacy. As Wikipedia puts it, this fallacy, quote, is related to the clustering illusion, which is the tendency in human cognition to interpret patterns where none actually exist, end quote. There's a very real possibility that people would be doing precisely this with the Bermuda Triangle. To illustrate this principle, I used a map generator from geomidpoint.com to distribute across the world 50 random locations. The second map that I generated showed heavy clustering around the continent of Africa, with no points placed on the continents of North and South America. We might draw a circle around Africa and say, what's the explanation for this high rate of airplane losses? But in this case, there wouldn't be an explanation for this distribution. It would be purely the result of chance. The fourth map that I created showed clustering around Australia. In such a world, would we be speculating about the spooky nature of the Australian Triangle? Even if there was a recognizable, unusual cluster of losses in the Bermuda Triangle, which there isn't, and even if there were no clear factors responsible for this, the explanation could simply be chance distribution. There also seems to be a bit of confirmation bias going on here. Nobody focuses on the thousands of plane flights and the countless boat excursions that have passed directly through the heart of the Bermuda Triangle with absolutely no problem. Instead, we only focus on the very rare trips where something goes wrong. If this place truly was the Devil's Triangle, and there actually was an epidemic of planes and boats vanishing, why would the vast majority make it through utterly unscathed? The thing is, a lot of people don't understand this point, and instead have this misconception that the Bermuda Triangle is this brutally dangerous place, where the moment you cross over the imaginary boundary of the triangle, you enter into this utterly mysterious, rarely traversed territory where death or disappearance is nearly inescapable. For example, YouTube user Administration writes in a comment, quote, "Why don't people fly a drone to see what's there?" End quote. Another guy, the Jerry Republic, floats a similar idea. Quote, "Why not just use a drone and a little remote control ship, then make the drone and the RC ship go over to it, and then sail the little ship into the Bermuda Triangle while the drone watches," end quote. People have this idea that if you enter into the Bermuda Triangle, it's a virtual certainty that you'll never be heard from again, and this is a complete fantasy. There's also the more basic underlying assumption that there is indeed something mysterious about the triangle that needs to be explained, and this is a faulty assumption. Yet this is the framing that countless news organizations put around their content on the subject, with headlines like "Secrets of the Bermuda Triangle" from Fox News, or endless headlines from outlets like Huffington Post or The Telegraph asking if the Bermuda Triangle mystery has finally been solved. The starting position, if we adopt this framing, is that there is a mystery here, and how do we explain it? The real mystery here is that anybody thinks there's a real mystery here. I think the constant media framing of the issue in this way arguably contributes to shaping the faulty views that many people have on this subject. I'm on Patreon. There's a link in the description if you'd like to support my content. I would really appreciate it. There's also social media links in there if you want to follow me there. I'm trying to build up some of those followings. I would really appreciate it. Make sure to subscribe for more videos if you haven't already. Hit the bell, hit the like button, post a fucking comments. All that fun stuff that's standard on YouTube. You know the fucking drill. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this.